Let's illustrate how you can implement the ComputeTax program by visualizing how you can split your income up to 3 parts, depending on the kind of filer you have. Okay, so we're going to use the examples over here, Jim over here being a single filer, and then with the particular income. Also, we're going to talk about Jonathan being a married filer with this particular income. Let's visualize exactly what's going to happen, and then you can actually infer the same calculation for all the other 5 test cases I gave to you. Of course, you're going to test with more test cases. Okay, let's now switch to iPad, and then let's go over these 2 examples. Okay, so this is the table for you to consider. So you can see 10%, 15%, and 25%, either single filer or it can be married filer, right? So these are the 2 possible cases, okay? Let's say we talk about Jim over here for the first case. He will be a single filer. So I'm going to say single filer. So let me just use blue for Jim. So that means you have to worry about different cutoff points. In this case, this will be the first cutoff points, and this will be the second one. Okay, and so these are the 2 cutoff points you have to really pay attention to. Okay, and Jim's income is this much. Okay, over here, and what we can do is, let's say we draw the number line over here for Jim's income. Okay, this is how I would draw it. So I'll simply say, let's say this is his income, which is $186,476. Okay, this is the income, basically from 0 up to this amount. Okay, so now how do we actually split his income? So basically, you have to see where the 2 cutoff points are with respect to his income. In this case, 8,350. The first cutoff point is around here, right? And then also, the second cutoff point is somehow smaller than this particular income. So we know that it's somewhere here, but it's after this first cutoff point. So it's going to be $33,950, right? Roughly speaking. So now this is how we split his income into 3 parts. So now what we're going to do is, so for the first part, it's going to be 10%. And so this is the first part. That is going to be 10%. And what about the second part? The second part that's put in blue is going to be 15%. And the third part is going to be above the second cutoff points, and let's put green. And it's going to be 25%. So now how exactly do we calculate? So how large is the yellow parts? Basically, for the yellow part over here, it's going to be exactly between 0 and 8,350. So that's going to be 8,350 multiplied by 10%, 0.1. Okay. What about the blue part? The blue part is going to be basically this cutoff point, subtract this cutoff point, right? It's going to be 33,950 minus 8,350 multiplied by the 15%, 0.15. Okay. And then what about the green part? The green part, again, is going to be whatever the income value it is minus the second cutoff points. So it's going to be 186,476 minus 33,950, and then multiply by 25%, 0.25. Okay, if you add them up together, this is how we calculate the tax for Jim. Okay, hopefully you see the idea. So now let's consider the second example quickly for Jonathan. So I will use orange over here. So now we have Jonathan here, who is a married filer. Basically, the idea is we're still going to split that Jonathan's income into 3 parts, up to 3 parts. But now we're going to use the 2 different cutoff points. So we're going to selectively choose these 2 cutoff points accordingly. Okay, let's see how we can split his income. His income is 33,500. Okay, so it's going to be very similar. So what I would do is I'm going to put his income over here. Okay, that's Jonathan's income. And then his income is over here. So let me put it here. It's going to be $33,500. And now we want to see where the 2 cutoff points should reside according with respect to Jonathan's income. So this is 0. The first cutoff point is strictly smaller than Jonathan's income. So that should be somewhere here. Let me just put 16,700, right? And also, what about the second cutoff point? You can see the second cutoff point is actually beyond Jonathan's income, which means for that part, we don't have to charge him. Okay, we don't have to charge him for the tax. So now, in this case, we only split Jonathan's income into two parts. So to be very precise, the first part is going to be from 0 until the first cutoff points over here, right? The first cutoff point, which is here. Okay, and the second part, let me put also in blue, is going to be from the first cutoff points until Jonathan's income, only blue. So there's no green part, okay, over here, right? You really have to see how large the user's income is, depending on their filing status, the cutoff points, okay? So now how do we do that? Easy. So now for the yellow parts, it's going to be basically from 0 until the first cutoff points. So it's going to be 16,700 minus 0, okay, multiplied by 10%, 0.1, plus the blue part, which is going to be Jonathan's income, and also minus the first cutoff point, which will be 33,500 minus 16,700, and then it's going to be 15%. And do we have any part to charge for the 25%? No, because Jonathan's income is strictly less than, so 33,500 is strictly less than the second cutoff points, which is 63,900. Because it's strictly less than that, so there's no third part to charge the tax for. Okay, so study these two visualizations for the two examples carefully. Hopefully you can infer about how you can implement your Java code.